It is 11:40. We are following breaking news from the city of Milwaukee. We have confirmed an officer is shot in the area of Green Bay and Fairmount. Let's go back live to Christina Van Zelst joining us in that area. Christina, it has been a very changing situation this morning.
Yeah, Suzanne, just before the break there, we saw an officer kind of running in an area that looked like there was a dumpster sort of in an alley. The officers here on scene are telling residents to stay inside at this point, and I just asked them, how far does this crime scene go? They said at least 2 blocks in each direction. So right now we're near Green Bay and Fairmount. This is near the Milwaukee River and the Marvin Pratt Elementary School. And this all came in about 2 hours ago. Still a very active scene. A lot of police officers here. We do have a photojournalist on the other side of this crime scene, and it seems that that is the area where police are really focusing their efforts right now. He talked with a witness who told him that he lives in a home where police came inside and told him to get out for safety reasons. We do know from at least 2 sources that an officer was shot in the leg. It's still unclear what led up to this situation. If police are looking for anybody, they are again telling residents to stay inside their home. As for that elementary school, it's back in session today, and we're trying to figure out if they're on lockdown, but we've seen cars kind of coming in and out. They're not necessarily inside the crime scene taped off area. So it doesn't appear that they are, but again, we're still trying to work with the safety of this area and just kind of are police looking for somebody and what led up to all of this. But again, as I mentioned, we do have a photojournalist on the other side of the crime scene. It's blocked off, and police who are working here say this is going to be blocked off for quite some time. We're hoping to hear from MPD on the scene later this afternoon to give us any sort of update, but as of this point, we have not had any information confirmed. So we'll be out here and try to get some of those answers for you, Suzanne.
Yeah, Christina, you mentioned our photojournalist, Jeff Frings. He joins us live kind of from a different vantage point in this area. 2-block radius closed of Green Bay and Fairmount in each direction. Jeff, I want to bring you into the conversation here. We can see some, it looks like U.S. Marshals. What else are you seeing from the vantage point that you are at?
Yeah, on the south side here of the scene, there have been officers arriving continuously since we've gotten here. Let me zoom out here and just show you, they're lined up for an entire city block, and then they go for another city block beyond that, and officers continue to arrive. One just arrived and drove through the park at fairly high speed. I've also seen half a dozen to a dozen sheriff's department officers dressed in what looks like tactical gear, carrying rifles. One looked like it could have been a longer rifle in a case. When the media was pushed back, we were up where these officers that you see now, we were near where they're standing, and we were pushed back an entire block. At that point, I asked the officer that was pushing us back what was the reason, and he said for safety. I asked if it was still an active scene, and he said as far as he knew it was very active. So that was 20 minutes, half hour ago when we were pushed back. To this point, we're on the corner of Green Bay and Stark, and then, like I said, there's still another full block worth of officers' cars parked that arrived after we were pushed back. So they continue to arrive. There's another one arriving right now. So they're continuing to bring people here. I don't know if that points to how active the scene is, but they continue to have officers, and many of them in what looks like tactical gear, arriving to the scene at this point.
I know we just got some word that Milwaukee police giving us some new information. Let's go back to Christina Van Zelst joining us from the opposite side of the scene. Christina, what is Milwaukee, what is that agency saying at this hour?
Yeah, so we just heard from MPD for the first time officially, and they're telling us that they are going to have a media staging area. They're calling this an active tactical situation, and MPD is asking requests for the safety of all law enforcement and the community that we do not fly drones over this area or helicopters based on their position. So we're not exactly sure what that is implying or what that means, but as our photojournalist Jeff Frings mentioned, there are still a lot of people arriving on this scene. They're calling it an active tactical situation. location. So we are going to head over to that media staging area and hope for some sort of update just on what exactly is happening here in a little bit.
And just to recap again, one officer was shot in the leg. That is confirmed from sources in the area of Green Bay and Fairmount. Milwaukee police appearing at this hour that they will be addressing the media at some point in the near future, but that this is still an ongoing scene. I do want to go back to Jeff Frings, who is giving us this picture live, our photojournalist there. Jeff, you spoke with a witness who lived in a duplex in that area that it appears some of the officers are focused on. What can you tell us about what that witness told you?
He said that they came into the house that he lived in and told them they had to leave, that it was for their safety. They said they were still looking for a relative that was up in that area and couldn't get to her. They didn't know if she was safe, but I did see a reunion with some of the family members from the witnesses we spoke to, so at least some of their family members are safe. I can tell you that the picture I'm showing you right now is the sheriff's deputies, many of them that I've seen arrive pretty recently in tactical gear. They're on, I believe that's on Fairmount, and the situation, it's blocked off in all directions, at least a couple blocks, as we said earlier, and I tried to get a different vantage point to see the house that they were focusing on, which according to the witness is on Fairmount, but there's no way to have any kind of vantage point at that house because so many of the roads are blocked off in all the different directions. But according to what the witness told us, the house that they're focusing on is on Fairmount, which would be a little bit to the left of the picture you're looking at now with the Sheriff's Department tactical units kind of lined up there.
Yeah, Jeff, thank you for that perspective. We also have an interview that you did with that witness. Let's listen to some of what that person had to say.
By the time we got around the Fairmount, there was already shots being rang out. They had the tape everywhere. Detectives was keeping people back, so we don't know who was shot or if the kids are safe.
So obviously that witness you just heard from, one of many people who may have experienced some sort of aftermath of this incident, what they heard or what they saw. Obviously, this is a very active police presence where officers are working to gather interviews and gather information. We know in many times the Milwaukee area investigative team will be brought in specifically if an officer incident involves death, though at this point we do not believe that is the case. Sources confirming again that one officer was shot in the leg. We're still working to learn some more information about any possible suspect or the specific focus of law enforcement at this time. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back here on Fox 6 News at 11 with the latest on this breaking news in Milwaukee.